President-elect Donald J. Trump has a message for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm with you. I'm with Israel. I want Israel to win against Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza. I want you to win, but you have to be done with these wars in the Middle East by the time I take office on January 20th. That's the message Donald Trump is sending to the Israeli Prime Minister, and the question is, can Netanyahu get it done? Hi, this is Joel Rosenberg in Jerusalem with a YouTube exclusive. Look, there's so much going on right now that you absolutely have to be watching the primetime show, the Rosenberg Report, Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, and again on Saturday nights too, because we're covering these things, but there's so much we can't get it into a half-hour show. That's why we're doing more YouTube exclusives, and this is a big topic because most Americans, most evangelicals, and most people around the world that care about Israel, that are watching this horrible war and on multiple fronts over the past 400 plus days, most people don't realize at this moment that Israel is very, very close to winning, and that there may in fact be a date certain by which these wars are going to be over. To be clear, there are a lot of X factors, right? You can't just set a date and say the war is going to be over, except that that's what Donald Trump is asking Bibi Netanyahu to do. Why? Because Trump's case when it came to Israel and the trauma that's going on in the Middle East, the chaos, the bloodshed that's been going on in the Middle East, the case that Donald Trump made during the recent presidential campaign is that if you have Harris, you're going to have more chaos, carnage, and bloodshed. And if you elect Donald Trump, he's going to restore order, calm, quiet, and peace. That Trump knows how to make peace, and you saw him make peace. There were no wars in the 4 years of the Trump years, right? Except for the destroying of the ISIS caliphate, right? But that went fast. And then Russia didn't invade any countries. Iran didn't invade any countries. Hamas didn't invade any countries. The Communist Chinese didn't, right? During 4 years of Trump, there were no wars that were started. And when it comes to the Middle East, Trump brought about 4 Arab-Israeli peace treaties, peace and normalization treaties known as the Abraham Accords, right? Israel and the United Arab Emirates, Israel and Bahrain, Israel and the Kingdom of Morocco, and Israel and Sudan. So Trump's brand is, I don't start wars, I end them. And I'm going to bring peace to the world, and I'm going to bring peace to the Middle East. That was the case he made. Not just to evangelicals, but we believe in making peace, right? Jesus said, blessed are the peacemakers, right? The psalmist tells us, seek peace and pursue it. The Apostle Paul talks about, be at peace with all men to the extent it has to do with you. In other words, if you can make peace with a neighbor or with an enemy, do it. Right? Paul's not talking about surrendering your rights or your freedoms or anything, but if you can make peace, do it. That's important. This is a biblical value. It's a Jewish biblical value in the Jewish scriptures. It's a New Testament Christian value as well. So Christians appreciate it, evangelicals appreciate that Trump is not a warmonger, as he sometimes is accused of being. That if you look at the record, there were 4 years of quiet and peace under Trump, 4 years of war and humiliation and trauma under Biden and Harris, right? And it's true. But it wasn't just evangelicals that were listening during the campaign. It was also the Jewish community. And in some areas of the country, Trump got a higher Jewish vote than ever in history, mainly in the New York, New Jersey area. Nationwide, it's a bit inconclusive whether Trump got a higher national Jewish vote for him, but definitely in high Jewish areas like New York, he got up to 50% or near 50% of the Jewish vote. That's a big deal. Trump's message that I'm with you, I'm standing with the Jewish community against anti-Semitism with Israel, that resonated. And it moved Jewish people towards Trump. But first, I want to say that in Israel's darkest hour, a lot of people are asking me, how can we help? How can we support Israel in its time of greatest need and be part of that biblical mandate found in Genesis chapter 12, verse 3, where God is speaking of blessing those who bless the people of Israel, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Well, a great way to do it is to partner with our sponsor of today's edition of the Rosenberg Report, ARTSA. Go to artsabox.com. Use the discount promo code RR15, Rosenberg Report 15, to get a 15% discount off the price of your ARTSA box. They are literally a taste of the Holy Land, and they come directly to your home in a beautiful box that contains potpourri, a range of all kinds of products made in Israel by all kinds of Israeli artisans, entrepreneurs, and small business owners. You're going to love them for yourself, for your family, and they make great gifts as well. Check it out. Go to artsabox.com, use the discount code RR15, Rosenberg Report 15, and I have no doubt that you'll love these boxes, these ARTSA boxes, as much as Lynn and I do. Trump actually went to Michigan, the highest area for Arab and Muslim Americans, and he made the case, stand with me, I'll make peace. If evangelicals who love Israel and Jews who love Israel didn't understand how much Trump loves Israel, maybe we would have gotten worried that Trump was shifting away from Israel and, he was going to support the Muslim community who, like Biden and Harris, trying to force Israel to surrender. That's not what Trump is saying. He's not saying Bibi Netanyahu surrender, except some sort of artificial, premature, permanent ceasefire, which is tantamount to surrender to Hezbollah, Hamas, and of course, ultimately the Iranian regime. No, Trump is not saying surrender. He's saying win. But win and then be done. I, Donald Trump, want to say in my inaugural address, I'm already changing the world. I'm changing it into a peaceful and quiet world. I'm standing with Israel, but I'm also standing with our Sunni Arab allies, and I'm telling the region of the Middle East there's a new sheriff in town. That's what Trump wants to say. And that's a good thing. Now look, Israel is almost done with its major combat operations. One could argue we are done with our major combat operations in Gaza, but it doesn't mean it's really over yet, because there are still Hamas terrorists in Gaza who sort of blended into the civilian population to sort of throw the IDF off the track, and then when it seems opportune, they go dig up or uncover, unpack weapons that they've hidden to go back out and attack Israeli soldiers, but also to attack humanitarian aid convoys and so forth. So Israel has to keep doing what we might call mop-up operations. They're important, they're not small, but they're not major operations, except we've got to continue to destroy all of those terror tunnels, hundreds and hundreds of miles of terror tunnels under Gaza, and we've got to find and rescue all of our hostages. This is critical. Trump thinks that Netanyahu can do it if he's given a free hand, and if Netanyahu isn't handcuffed politically the way Biden and Harris kept telling him, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't go into Rafah, you can't use maximum force to win quickly. Trump rejects that, and he says, win. No holds barred. You can do what you have to do. Obviously, be compassionate and protect civilians as much as you possibly can, but win and get your hostages back, but be done. You got to be done by January 20th, okay? That's a big deal, and I think it's doable. What's more, we already know from IDF military and intelligence estimates that the IDF, the Israeli military, has destroyed upwards of 80% of Hezbollah's missile force and more than 70% of the Hezbollah drone force that's been, facing us and attacking us or preparing to attack us over this past year. So Israel has taken out the top 18 of the top 18 Hezbollah leaders, right, including the leader for more than 30 years of Hezbollah, the demonically possessed Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah. So all the top 18 leaders of Hezbollah, including Nasrallah, they're gone. They're dead. They've been assassinated. The top 3 leaders of Hamas, all dead, all assassinated by Israel, right? Ismail Haniyeh, who was assassinated at a guest house in Iran, Yahya Sinwar, the top terror mastermind of Hamas in Gaza, and Mohammed Deif, the top military tactician who was right next to Yahya Sinwar. All three of those guys, they're the top of the food chain in Hamas. They're all dead. With Hamas effectively dead or nearly so, and Hezbollah 80% destroyed, and all those top leaders destroyed, and of course, then the next 4,000 mid-level and senior Hamas operatives having been either killed or severely wounded when their pagers and their walkie-talkies blew up. Basically, Israel is within striking distance of finishing off Hezbollah once and for all. Now, there are some negotiations going on. The U.S. is trying to persuade Hezbollah to stand down, to retreat back north away from the Israeli border, anybody that's left near the border. There's not that many, but to commit to staying away from the Israeli border, north of the Litani River. And the United States is sort of secretly, quietly talking to the civilian and military leadership of Lebanon, the non-Hezbollah part of Lebanon, saying it's time to stand up. It's time to oppose Hezbollah and push them over, overthrow them, take your country back. I don't know exactly how this is going to play out right now, but what I'm saying is Trump is reading all this and he's saying, Bibi, Netanyahu, you're my friend, you're my ally, I want you to win. Not just in Gaza, I want you to win against Hezbollah, but you got to get done. Do what you got to do to win in the next 2 months. This is important. This isn't pressuring us to give up. This isn't pressuring Israel to surrender. It's encouraging us, win and get your troops home. Get them home to their families. Get them home, get these men home to their wives. Get them home to their children. Israel is not built for long wars, right? Don't you remember the 6-Day War of 1967? That was a miracle. But like we're built as a small country for fast wars. We're not the United States. We don't have a $20 trillion economy. We don't have 330 million people. We don't live on a continent. We're a little country. Yeah, we're stronger and more prosperous than most of the countries around us, but we don't have a standing army of 1 million people. We have a reserve army. And we need them home. Their wives need them home. Their children need them home. Our troops are exhausted. Some of them, their wives are telling them, if you go back into battle, you will come back to an empty house. This is painful. It's exhausting. It's expensive. Our economy is taking a hit. Our families are taking a hit. Divorces are up. This is a very serious moment. And so we need a friend that we trust, Donald Trump, to tell our prime minister, win. Win, but finish. Now, last point on this, what does Trump mean when it comes to Iran? Is Trump giving Netanyahu a green light in the next 2 months, go attack and destroy the Iranian regime and the nuclear facilities and the oil facilities? Maybe, but I'm starting to think the answer is no. Not because Trump doesn't think it should get done, and I really can't tell you. I mean, if a big attack happens soon, Trump will support it. Remember in the campaign, Biden was saying Israel shouldn't do a big retaliation against the Iranian regime after 500 missiles were fired at us. And Trump was saying, absolutely, you should do it. So it's not clear, and I don't want to mislead you to say that I know what's going to happen. There is a case that Trump is saying, go do what you got to do with the Iranian regime and the nuclear facilities and get it done, but just be done when I take office. That's one possibility. But the other possibility, just to wrap this up, is that Trump might be saying, deal with Hezbollah, deal with Hamas, be done, and when I get in, we're going to reapply a maximum pressure campaign of massive, crippling, destructive economic sanctions on the Iranian regime, the likes of which they've never seen. Let's force the Iranian regime to its knees and see if they will give up their ambitions, and maybe the Iranian people will even rise up and overthrow them. And if we have to use military force, we'll use it, but let's see if there's some other way. I don't know the answer, exactly how it's going to go, but I can tell you, and we'll wrap on this, Trump is saying to Bibi Netanyahu, and it's public, I'm not telling you something that's not public, Bibi, I'm with you, finish the job. And the people that Trump is putting around him now, you got to watch a different YouTube report and the Rosenberg Report as I deal with the new U.S. ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, super pro-Israel, a strong evangelical, a dear personal friend, and on the All Israel News Advisory Board, and a TBN anchor until January, when he's going to have to step away. So that'll be our loss, but America's gain. And then Pete Hegseth, the new Secretary of Defense, he will be evangelical, strong on Israel, strong against the Iranian regime, strong on the military, served for 20 years. You can watch the YouTube exclusive as I walk through the different key national security, foreign policy experts that are coming in around Trump. The point is, Trump is building a very strong pro-Israel team, a team that gets the threat of the Iranian regime and is serious about ending that and neutralizing that threat, a team that's serious about dealing with Russia and communist China. So I think Prime Minister Netanyahu is very encouraged. He knows that Trump really does have Israel's back. And now Netanyahu has to figure out over these next couple months, how do I end this war and bring our people home, our hostages and our troops, and how do we start to recover? This is critical. Pray. Pray for Netanyahu and his advisors, his new defense minister, Israel Katz, his new foreign minister, Gideon Sa'ar. Pray for Trump and for his senior team that he's building. It's a good team. It's a very impressive team. And now we've got a mission. And I think we're coming in the next couple months to the end of this chapter, this terrible, dark chapter, and to something new. And I will leave you with this thought. I think that Trump not only wants Netanyahu to win, Israel to win in Lebanon and Gaza, I think Trump wants to bring about the Saudi-Israeli peace and normalization deal that Biden and Harris talked about for 4 years but could not get done. If it can get done, I think Trump wants to do it. And we're going to be covering all of this on the Rosenberg Report and, of course, at All Israel News. From Jerusalem, I'm Joel Rosenberg, asking you to continue to pray for peace for Jerusalem and the rest of the region. For the Rosenberg Report, this is a YouTube exclusive. God bless you.